Hello everyone, I'm back. Such as it is, I have my 9-column grid. Hopefully a little bit like in the book, I've got the same headings, the date, the purchases, quantity, unit cost, total cost, cost of goods sold with the same thing, quantity, unit cost, and total cost, and then the inventory, quantity, unit cost, total cost, just like you see in the chapter. Okay, so I kind of made one, and we're going to do all three methods, and I'm going to keep the same template and just change the numbers. Okay? So this problem is on page 359. It's exercise 6-20, and it says, too bad I can't see it, AB Tire Store completed the following perpetual inventory transactions for the sale of tires. And this is all in the month of May. So it's not too long, which is good, but we do have to do it by three methods. So we're going to have our beginning, always start with the beginning inventory on May 1st. Okay? And the beginning inventory was 16 tires at $65 each. So we're going to go 16 units, and it's $65 each. And the total, you just have to do multiplication, is 1040, right? Which is 65 times 16. Right? So that's our first beginning balance. Right? So I'm going to try to put lines, and I'm going to try not to go downhill. So everyone, that's going to stay, because that's going to be true for all three methods. Beginning balance is the same. So then on the 11th of May, they purchased 10 units at $78. Notice the price changed. Okay? So this is May 11th. They purchased 10 units and $75. So that's $750, right, for total cost. And so now, what you do when you go to the inventory columns, you bring down the old and then you add to it. So we're going to bring down the 16 we already have at 65 for 1040, and then we're going to add the new. Always bring down the old first, no matter what method you use. Here's our new purchase, 11 units. We paid 78, and it's, 75. Oh no, it is 78. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. I sound surprised. I make a lot of mistakes. Okay, 780. Just didn't think I made one there. Okay, so that's supposed to be 10. I'm looking at the problem after it. Okay, 780. Okay. So now we have two what I call tiers or layers of inventory, two different prices. So now when we go to sell, we have a choice to make. Which one are we going to sell first? Well, because we're using Fifo, we're going to sell the oldest first. Cheaper stuff. Okay? So we have our first sale on the 23rd of May. And we sold 12 units, right? Just make sure. Yeah, they paid, the selling price was $88. We'll get to what we do with that in a minute. That's going to be our sales revenue. We never want to put the selling price in here. This is only for our cost. Nothing to do with the selling price goes in this grid. It's only to figure out the sales revenue to get the gross profit after. Okay, so 12, we have enough of the old ones to sell all 12 at $65. So 12 units we're selling at $65 our cost. Multiply that, the extension is 780. I hate when they repeat numbers, it's so confusing. They do that all the time in this book. Not just this book, many books. So what do we have left? We have to subtract. We sold 12 of the $65 tier, so subtract 16, 12 from 16. I should say. That leaves 4 units at 65. And that would give us 260. And then of course we didn't even touch the newer tier or the newer layer. We still have 10 at 78 for 780. So we have 14 units, but 10 of them are the more expensive. When we're doing weighted, it would weigh heavily on the 10, right? Much more heavily than the 4. We'll see that coming up. Okay, so we had our first sale. Okay. So on the 26th, we have another purchase at a new price. We bought 14 units and $80 this time. So the extension is 1,120. Okay. So now we have 3 different prices, okay, which happens a lot with Fifo. Okay, so bring down the old 4 at 65 for 260, 10 at 78 for 780, and then the new ones we just got 14 at 80 for 1120. So you see we got a whole bunch of tiers going on there. So now on the 29th, we have our last sale of the month, and it's for 18 units. Oh boy, we're going to be going through all 3. We're going to sell all of the 4 at 65. Those will be gone. We're going to sell all of the 10 at 78. Those are all gone. And we still need 4 to make our 18. So we're going to take 4 of the new ones we just bought at 80. Okay, and that's 320. So what we did is basically got rid of the 2 older ones and we're only left with the newer one. 14 minus 4 is 10 units at 80 for $800. Ending inventory is $800. Okay, so let's do our totals. We bought, let's see if I can make a nice straight line. I'll do my best. We bought 24 units, right? As our totals. And we paid for those units $780 and $1120, 1,900. Let me make sure I put it in the right column. Okay. Cost of goods sold, all these numbers, 780, 260, 780, and 320, 2140. Total cost of goods sold. Oh, put it in the wrong column. I'm making a mess. And the ending inventory, 10 units at 800. So we know using Fifo, our cost of goods sold was $21.40. Our ending inventory, 10 units at 80. Look what happens when you use Fifo. You end up with the newer goods. Happens all the time. The more expensive newer goods are, the remaining inventory is high. Another reason why Gap doesn't like it. Okay? Lower cost of goods sold, higher ending inventory, not conservative. So the other thing they want to know, what's the gross profit? So we need the revenue for that. So let's see how many we sold. We charged $88 for both sales, $12 at $88 and $18 at $88. So that means 30, right? So here's our revenue. And we're going to get our gross profit. Sales revenue is 30 tires, 30 tires. We charged them $88 each. So that equals $26.40. revenue minus cost of goods sold, $21.40. Gross profit is $500 using Lifo. That's what they want to know. So that's the Fifo. Again, lowest cost of goods sold is going to give you the highest profit and the most expensive inventory at the end. We're going to do the same exact one, but this time we're going to use Lifo, requirement 2. First two are going to be the same. The beginning balance and the first purchase. This is where it differs, the first sale. Right? Last in, first out. We're still going to do 12, but not at 65. 10 are going to come from 78. For 780. And then the 2 for 65. For 130. Notice how that changed. Okay? We had 10 of them for the from the newer, which we got rid of, and we went to the older tier. I gotta stop using my fingers, they're totally black. So let's see what we have left. We certainly don't have the 10 anymore. We have 2, right, at 65. No. 14, I'm sorry. Why do I have, oh, it was 16, I'm sorry. 16 minus 2. I lost my head. 16 minus 2, 14. Gotta stop using my fingers. At 65, this is gonna get a little messy, but 910. So notice that looked quite different from the first sale, right? We made the purchase, which going to add that in, but of course we have to change the first 2. So might as well just change them all. You really get more than 2 tiers with Lifo. It just doesn't happen. Because you keep getting rid of the new stuff first, so it doesn't build up. Okay, so I'm going to bring down that 14 at 65 for 910, and I'm going to add in what we just bought, which is 26. I'm sorry, which is 14 at 80. Yep. And that total is 1120. Okay? Again, looks different. Okay, our last sale is also going to be different. Our sale of 18. Again, we're using Lifo. The last thing that comes in is the first thing that goes out. I wish there was a neater way of doing this, but unfortunately there isn't. Might as well erase this part too since I'm erasing. Okay, so we have our last sale on the 26th, and it's for, oh no, I did that already. On the 29th, we have our last sale of 18 units. So we're going to take the 14 and 80 first, the last thing we just got, and that's 1120, so they're already gone. Notice the new stuff goes real quickly, right? We still needed 4 more, so we're going to go to our older stuff and take the other 4 from 65, and we're going to have 260 for our cost of goods sold. What do we have left? 10 units at 65. Again, our inventory is older, cheaper merchandise. It's going to be lower. 650. Remember, it was 800 when we used Fifo. Okay. So I'm going to put the totals. These two are the same. The quantity we bought and the price. The quantity we sold is the same. I could have left that, 30 units. But the total cost of goods sold is going to be $22.90, which is lower. I'm sorry, higher. It's higher. We sold the newer stuff first. And the ending inventory is going to have the older stuff, so that's lower at $6.50. So there you go. Ending inventory, cost of goods sold. They're asking the same thing. What's the gross profit? So all I have to do here is change my cost of goods sold and come up with my new gross profit. Okay. Gross profit is always going to be more when you use Lifo. Again, you're selling the newer, more expensive items and you're left with older, cheaper ones, which is why Gap likes it so much. Conservative. $22.90. Minus that out from our same 30 units at 88 that we sold. Gross profit's down to $3.50. Okay. There's Lifo. The last one is the, how about if you choose weighted average? The good thing about weighted average is it's shorter. Okay. So, let's see how I'm going to tackle this. The first two, only the first one's going to be the same. So I'm just going to erase all of the numbers first. Maybe it might be less confusing that way than me just erasing as I go. I'll be taking up fewer lines in the grid. Okay, keep that. Keep that. Erase that. Erase that. So I'm basically erasing all the numbers from Lifo, except the beginning. Okay. And I'm keeping the purchases there. And the quantity that we sold is still going to be 30. With the weighted average, okay, we have to do a little math. And where am I going to do that math? I'm not sure. Maybe at the end here. Let me erase this circle. So we have to do two of them. Okay. So, when we have to get our weight is when we make the purchase. Okay? We're never going to have more than one inventory price in our inventory, so there won't be any choice. Okay? We're going to have our average, we're going to put it in. So, to get that average, we need the total amount of cost divided by the total quantity. So, we purchased 10 at 78. Right, for $7.80, and we had 16 at 65 for $10.40. So this is how you do it. I'm going to try to make room right here. Hopefully. Okay, so here's $10.40, right, plus $7.80 would be the numerator, divided by 14 plus 10 is the denominator. That's the worst 4 I ever saw. Okay, so basically what we have is 1820 numerator divided by 24 units. Total cost over total units available gives you the weight. That weight is $70 per unit. Okay, so anytime you do a purchase, we only have one more, thank God. That's what you have to do. But the good news is once you do it, you don't have to make a choice anymore. That's the price, $70. Notice how that weight is being pushed by the bigger quantity. 14 versus 10, it's tending more towards the higher. The weight will always capture that for you. So what do we have? We have, oh, it's supposed to be 26 units. Why do I have 24? I'm sorry, 16 and 10. I can't read. 16 and 10, 26. If you had a calculator in your hand, you must have thought I was crazy. It is the right answer, 70. Okay, so we have 26 units at 70. Multiply that out, 1820. We already knew that, right? 1820 right here. This is the amount we're going to use for cost of goods sold. No choosing. No which way do I go? Oldest, newest, none of that. That's the advantage of weighted average. So on the 23rd, when we had our first sale for 12 units, of course it's the 70 for $840. Okay. And what do we have left? 26 minus 12, 14 units at 70. And that's $980. For some reason I didn't get rid of that. I missed a square. Kind of easy to do. Okay, so we have a purchase, which means we have to do that pesky math again. Okay? So we have 14, but notice the weights are even. Both 14. At 70, 14 and an 80, 14. So let me erase this and get a new weight per unit. And we're going to use that for our last sale. So the second one is the cost, the $980 that we already had, plus the $1120, right, that we just bought. That's a total of $2,100 divided by, the units are 14 plus 14. So that's 28. So 2,100 divided by 28, our weight is up to 75 per unit. It's expected because it's kind of split in half because we have 14 of each. So that makes perfect sense. So we have 28 at $75. That's our new weight, 2,100. Then we have our last sale. No need to split them up or decide if we want oldest or newest. We're going to use our $75 cost. We have our 18 at 75. Multiply it out, you get $1,350. Right? 28 minus 18 is 10 at 75 for $750. Okay. So we had 800 for Fifo, we had 650 for Lifo, and we have 750 for average. Ending inventory, I have no place to put it, so let me get my cost of goods sold changed. Okay, so cost of goods sold with weighted average, let me change this to WA. Cost of goods sold would be $2,190 if you add this up. And of course the ending inventory is $750, which we already knew. Okay, so let's put our cost of goods sold so we can get the gross profit using weighted average. So we're going to minus the $2,190 from the sales revenue of $2,640, and we get $450 for our weighted average, which is in between the 500 and the 350 that we got for Fifo and Lifo. That'll happen every time with weighted average. That's my 3 methods. Okay. That's it for this video. We'll have one more. See you in a minute.